Welcome to Magi Monday. This is a very special edition where I am wearing my crown because we are talking about the center of the crown line today, the magical Eight of Diamonds. But first, before I tell you all about this card, uh, and cards are just jumping out at me over here. The Sun card wanted to say, "Hey, Eight of Diamonds. I am also known as the Sun card. Let me introduce myself. My name is Andrea Blythe, and I am the traveling Magi of Let Love Rise, where this year on my YouTube channel, I am bringing you 52 videos on the 52 cards of the deck. The deck that we know and love for Go Fish and poker and all the fun games that we like to play with the deck of cards. And here I am decoding the true meaning of how what this was in its original form as an astrological calendar, a guidance system that is believed to have come from the Atlanteans and was practiced particularly in Egypt, in the temples of Egypt, where it went underground around the time of Ramses and has been sort of this mystical, secretive, society in order that the people who carried the tradition and the knowledge through. And it was foretold that there would come a day and a time and a place when we human beings are ready to hear this wisdom again. And guess what? You chose to live at this time. And so here I am this year demystifying some of these cards and having intentional conversations with people of this energy. As you can see, I'm writing solo today. And it's probably because the Eight of Diamonds people who I reached out to are so busy being abundant and making money that they could not be here today. So instead, you get me and my crown and some mystical wisdom. So let's talk about the Eight of Diamonds. First and foremost, there is the numerology of the cards of the Magi card science system. The eight, like I'm gonna take my wand. Think about an eight. Think about the infinity symbol. Think about power. In the summertime, we have that beautiful period of manifestation known as the Lion's Gate on 8-8. It is a very powerful number. In the Magi, there are two cards that jump out for me numerologically that really speak to power, all the eights and all the kings. Okay, so anybody of any of the suits of the eight, you have incredible power. And now the symbology, the diamond is all about our values and our money, or our what we desire, what our worth is, and how to get the funds to make it happen, right? So this is a really powerhouse of a financial card. Why do you want to know about the Eight of Diamonds and in your soul roadmap? And perhaps even, well, what is a soul roadmap? So this system, the Magi card science system is slightly different. Perhaps you've heard of tarot, tomato, tomato, however you want to say it. What is different between these two systems? Because I actually did pull a tarot card just a couple of days ago, and the card that came to me was the Sun card, which I just love because that is the Eight of Diamonds. So there are some overlaps between cards between these two systems, but whereas the tarot is really an intuitive divination, more of an oracle type, and I hope I am not as a certified tarot reader, like presenting it in its proper light. The Magi card science system is scientifically calculated to each individual based on the solar energy of your birthday. I just happen to be here in my office today, and this can show you your birthday. And based on the energy of it, there is a calculation that arrives and gives you your birth card. So I'll have a description, or in the description below, you can see all the birthdays of the Eight of Diamonds. And also, it's not just those people who have this as their birth card, but it could fall as your planetary ruling card. And that has to do with the sign of the zodiac under which you were born. And if you want to know more about that, there's also a link in the description where you can hop on a clarity call with me, a soul purpose clarity call, and just hear a little bit more about your cards and how this system can align you with your soul purpose. And when we're in our soul purpose, we are on what I call the yellow brick road to our authentic life of joy and fulfillment. And by the way, this crown. I got to give props to my eight of clubs child who happened to have worked at Spirit Halloween. And at the end, I was like, I need a Glinda crown. Will you please get me a Glinda crown? So here it is, my Glinda crown, the good witch of the North. And as a spade, the North. We'll get to that. We'll get to that next season. Here we're talking about the diamonds. Where did I divert? What was I talking about? The difference between the tarot and the Magi. Okay, so this is scientifically based on you. So there are people who are born of this card, the Eight of Diamonds solar energy. There are people that have it as their planetary ruling card. And these people also, it's like two sides of the same coin, right? You have your birth card on one side, your planetary ruling card on the other. And then if you're like me, I'm not an Eight of Diamonds person. I am not an Eight of Diamonds planetary ruling card. However, the Eight of Diamonds is still important to know about because where and how it shows up in my soul roadmap, that guidance system I was saying that's scientifically calculated to me, to you personally, to know where it is going to speak about the time and indicate to you, guide you to a time where you are going to have financial power. And I don't know about you, but I have been hearing all kinds of people talking about, there's a lot of scarcity around right now about money and where it's coming from and feeling all the restraints that we are currently experiencing. I am not even going to attempt to go political at this. This is not the purpose of that, but there are two mindsets. There's a mindset that is very fear driven, right? And we'll listen to all this so that there's not enough, that we are functioning in a world of a limited supply. And when I say limited supply of money, a limited supply that if I take this, there's not going to be enough room for that person, or, oh, they already have that and I'll never have this. This is a limiting belief. It is not true, first and foremost. We live in an ever expanding universe that is so full of money, because if you really think about it at its core, money can be interchanged with the word value. And there is no limit to what we value. And there is no limit to the amount of money that you can earn. And that's where this card comes in. I'm going to take a quick sip. This card comes in because if you are somebody who is looking for clarity, direction, focus, money-making power, and ability, you want to be looking for the Eight of Diamonds in your roadmap. You want to see, wow, if you have an Eight of Diamonds in Jupiter, it's going to amplify the power that you have to get really clear about the money that you desire and give you the power to go forth and, I'm going to say, manifest it, make it happen. We need to first be very clear, though. Let's be clear that we need to be clear on the numbers. Like, do you know how much money do you need? Like, just to say, I want more, all right? Like, that could be 50 cents more. And if you want 50 cents more, then more power to you. I believe that you can manifest that by just taking a neighborhood walk and picking up change. Are you somebody who walks over a coin on the street and is just like, ah, it's just a penny. I'm not going to bend down and pick it up. That is literally money at your feet. Pick it up. Like, recognize that the universe is lining your path with money. And so what you do with it is up to you. The Eight of Diamonds really wants you to get clear about the amount of money that you desire and then go forth and make it so. And there's all kinds of mindset into this. I know I'm oversimplifying it here. And this is the work that I do with my Joyful Soul Circle. I have a group that meets every Wednesday morning, and specifically in fall season because fall is the season that the diamond represents. And you can look also on my logo here. It also represents the west, right? So as the sun sets, the fall, when we reflect on our values, we reflect on our money, what needs to be refined. But this fall season in the Joyful Soul Circle, we are taking a deep dive on our money mindset, on that abundance mindset. So if you can use support with that, again, I would just say to hop on with me for a clarity call and we can talk about where you're at and see if it is a right fit for you to join that circle. I would love for all who are looking for that extra support in a mystical, magical kind of way, that you would join us in that space. So getting really clear on the money, putting it out there and affirming to the universe that I am going to make this amount of money by this amount of time and then let it be so. I will say one thing when it comes to manifesting, it's not your job to figure out how. Most people will stop because they're trying to figure out, well, how? Okay, great, Glinda, with your freaking crown and your wand, speaking from your office. If I want an extra $8,000, I can't just pull it out of thin air. Notice the words that you say to yourself. Notice how you maybe are limiting yourself. And then there's a lot of teachings that can help you. There's so many great books. There's so many great teachers that want to really talk about the power of your mind. Your word is your wand. I invite you to go back to the summer season where I did a whole series, 13 videos, 13 weeks of the summer season that go through the 13 cards of the suit of the club. And the club is the card that, or is the suit that represents our mindset. It represents our thinking, our wisdom seeking. And so there's so much there as well. But one thing that's really important to share about the Eight of Diamonds is knowing where, like I said, where it is in your soul roadmap, because we can all have it in our roadmap. And this is the work that I love to do. I love to guide people through your soul roadmap. Through either a reading or if you're one of my soul purpose clients, we're always looking at our roadmaps for that extra support and guidance on specifically what you are working through at the time. And one of the things that I always look at is I'm going to use some technological terms here. Don't worry, I'll walk you through it. Uh, is to know when you are displacing the Eight of Diamonds. What does that mean? I'm going to do a screen share of my magical, mystical, beautiful friend Amber, who has created this website called 52 Emblems. It's just a really beautiful way of showing these solar spreads. So I haven't done a screen share before. This might get a little technical, and this is what happens, people, when I'm riding solo. So what you see here is called the Grand Solar Spread. We have on the left over here the spiritual spread. This is the cards when they are in perfect order, or how many of us like to think about it. I think if I click on it, I'll get a little bit bigger. Life before we came to this earth at this time to be a part of the great awakening of how to use playing cards to guide you through your life's ebbs and flows. So you have the spiritual spread. Everything is in beautiful order. And then if you flip over to the right-hand side, we call this the life spread. This can often also be called the mundane spread. I like life spread. So you go from this world where everything's in perfect, beautiful, harmonic order, and then you come over to the life spread, and it looks like somebody just played 52 card pickup, and the cards are all randomly in order. There are a few that are in the same spot, the King of Spades, the Eight of Clubs, and the Jack of Hearts. They never move. And there are a couple other cards that just flip-flop from year to year. And those are the semi-fixed cards. But the other 45 cards in the deck that you see here in this life spread, they have a pattern. There's a pattern called quadration. And as the cards move, there is a pattern that leads you eventually up to this center spot, the Jupiter position of the crown line. Okay. And it is called the spot of the sun card. And when your card is there, you have reached what's called the pinnacle position. And the pinnacle position can mark a time where you have achieved a crowning achievement. Yep. Where you have perhaps come to completion with something. And I'll give a small story from my own personal life. I was at the Eight of Diamonds, the pinnacle position, the same year that I had decided that I was finished officially, that I was going to step away from my role as a high school teacher. And I had always loved my job. I poured my heart, soul, and passion into it. And after the tumultuous teaching through the pandemic, everything that fell apart fell together in my life during that time. It brought me out of my joy of teaching and I never reconnected with it. But here's what's cool is I was displacing the Eight of Diamonds the year I stepped away from my role. So it was kind of like a pinnacle. It was the height of my teaching. And when I left, I was awarded Teacher of the Year that year, which just was so heartfelt. But that's a small example of how when you're at that, when your card is going to move to that Eight of Diamonds position, it's really important to understand where you are in a cycle and what might be completing, what might be coming to its fruition as well. So if you see it in your roadmap that it's 2, 3 years down the road and you're going to be at that pinnacle spot, everything that you do today is going to help you to take full advantage of being there in that pinnacle and taking what is rightfully yours that you have worked for, that you have manifested, that you have created, that you have brought forth. And it's kind of like a gold star for you for doing the work to reach that achievement. So that's just one example. It's important to understand the Eight of Diamonds in this position of displacement. How it shows up in your roadmap and other ways, sometimes it might be in a challenging position. It might be in your Pluto position. It's really challenging you and what your money making power, and it is going to lead you into hopefully the internal work because here is something else. I'm going to share the screen again. Oh my goddess. I'm gonna have to do it this way. Got to put the glasses back on. So I can screen share it again to show you that in the position of the Eight of Diamonds, in the spiritual spread, okay, in this world, this perfect world, what we value here on earth is money, right? We value it. We put it at the center in the crowning achievement. Often, that money reward system comes through to you. But when you look at the spiritual spread, you're looking at the first karma card of the Eight of Diamonds, and that's the Queen of Spades. The Queen of Spades in the spiritual spread is the Jupiter. It is the crown line position of the Jupiter column. Okay. So the Queen of Spades, we have not got to her yet because that is going to be winter season coming up after the solstice. We'll be diving into all of these cards. And the Queen of Spades is known as the card of self-mastery. I have the Queen of Spades kind of all over. I am a Four of Spades person by birth. And so she is my queen. She is who I look to for that guidance. And what the Queen of Spades always wants you to know is that the answers aren't out there. The answers are in here. You know, going back to Glinda, when she is with Dorothy at the end, you've had the power within you all along. It's always been within you. Just tap your heels 3 times and say, there's no place like home, and off you go, right? The power is within us. And so it's interesting to note that the value of this crown line, the center of the crown line, the Jupiter column in the spiritual world is a card of self-mastery, of going within, of seeking our answers internally, trusting ourselves, trusting our emotional guidance system, and seeking the answers there instead of from, like the survey says from the panel of people who are perhaps maybe even misinformed or living in fear, all of that, and people that we might choose to listen to. Self-mastery. Self-mastery is the karma of this Eight of Diamonds person to lead towards that. Because when we realize that the power is within us all along, it takes us back to that idea of truly manifesting. What does it mean to say, I'm just going to use that number? I think the number I said was $8,000. That's a big amount of money. That can get you all kinds of stuff, but you got to be clear on what you are intending that money for. Is it, what that money is for? And then knowing that you have the breath of the universe inside of you. It lives in you. You have the divine spark within you. And it's your job to access that through your thoughts, through checking in with your emotions, through getting really clear, through drowning out all of the noise, so that the synchronicities can take place. This random person who said this random thing that took you into this random place that opened up a door that you didn't even know existed. And this is why when we're on the manifestation train, your job is just to get clear about what you desire, what you desire it for, and the amount that you desire, and then you let the rest go. You turn it over to the universe. The universe is going to figure out the hows. The universe is going to align to put people and places in your path so that you can open that door. Where behind it, behind door number three, you've got $8,000. Woohoo! I am definitely simplifying things here. I understand that. But the point of this being that knowing where the Eight of Diamonds shows up for you in your soul roadmap, if it does. I looked at my soul roadmap for this year. I'm just going to double check real quick. I looked at my annual roadmap for the year, and I do not have the Eight of Diamonds. I have some others. I've got the Five of Diamonds in Jupiter. I've got the Five of Diamonds long range. I have Four of Diamonds, Seven of Diamonds. So I can look at all the cards that are in my roadmap. And I was like, oh, I don't have the Eight of Diamonds. Oh, that's not true. I did at the very beginning of my year. The Eight of Diamonds was there in my Mercury period. Mercury period is kind of a fast moving period. It's not, nothing to get too excited about, neither here nor there. But there are positions where if you have the Eight of Diamonds in that position, it's like, okay, what you gonna do? You got this money making power. Are you gonna use it or not? And sometimes the difference between using it or not is simply knowing that you have it or not. And if you are an Eight of Diamonds person, and your financial situation is not where it wants to be, hate to tell you this. Got to go look within. Got to seek within. What's happening internally? What are the thoughts, words that you're thinking? What are the actions that you're producing? How are you truly connecting and supporting yourself to get to that next level that you desire? Any dream that is in your heart is unique to you. We all share the same fears, the same worries. Am I safe? Am I loved? Do I have enough? Am I enough? We can all hit on those worries, those fears. But the dreams are totally different. Totally different. And you could even look at, groups of siblings. I myself have three children, and their three dreams look drastically different, one from the other, because our dreams are unique to us. And so that is that internal wisdom of the Eight of Diamonds. That first karma card of that queen is understanding that if there is a dream living in your heart, that it is yours to pursue with relentless abandon, because we have this one wild and precious life. This is yours. What are you going to do with it? You know? And so it is my hope that with these videos, these 52 videos that I'm producing this year, that they spark your curiosity, that maybe make you think, well, maybe now is the time. Let's get a little bit more clarity. Let me hop on a call. Let me understand what my cards are. what's in my roadmap, not just for the year, but also for your lifetime. We have the karma that I'm speaking about right here for the Eight of Diamonds is the lifetime karma card. Okay, this is something that the Eight of Diamonds person is going to be giving attention to throughout the life. This is directing you. This is an area of your life to pay attention to. We all carry karma, and you can read them in the cards. And this system is so spot on and so accurate. It absolutely, every time I do a reading, every time I share this wisdom with somebody, if it's a mini reading, if it's a mini experience, or if it's a full reading, or if it's a client who's in my Soul Purpose program. And we look at the cards regularly as we're developing ideas and stepping, onto that yellow brick road. I'm just flabbergasted in the very best way. It's just like, how is this even possible? I don't I don't have an answer for you people. I grew up playing solitaire. My grandparents used to always have decks of cards, and I grew up just playing with this system and not having any understanding that it was so much more. And the same thing as technology advances, right? Like, I don't have to understand what is all involved with sending a text message. It's fascinating, right? It's like I have no idea how it's possible that I type little things with my thumbs, hit send, and it reaches somebody. Literally can be across the country, it could be in another country, and it happens instantaneously. I don't know. I don't get it. I also don't understand electricity, but I use it, So same with these cards. We might not understand it all. However, it is a very practical tool. You know, there are lots of tools that help us to understand ourselves better, our soul essence, who we chose to be in this lifetime. What are the patterns that we are choosing to work through and to break? What are the cycles? Because literally in the cards, you can see the patterns. And that's what I'm here to help guide people through. So I hope this was informative, inspiring, and perhaps curiosity provoking. And I would love it if you know somebody who is an Eight of Diamonds birthday. Again, look in the description for the full list of birthdays that you share this video with them. Just give them a little reflection back of their soul essence. And if you're curious to know where it is in your soul roadmap, I would be happy to walk you through a reading of the cards. It has just been such a helpful tool on my road back to joy and authenticity. Honestly, my life and everything that I knew kind of blew up in my face in the year 2020. And I know that many of you can relate to 2020 and what happened. You can find all my stories on Let Love Rise, www.letloverise.com, for some of the storytelling that put me on that path that eventually has me sitting here in a crown with my magic wand, uh, talking to a computer and sharing this wisdom with the world. I love it. And then a special, special thanks to Amber, the amazing creator of some of these visuals or the visuals of the Grand Solar Spreads. So I will also put her information in there. And Amber is I believe, a King of Clubs. King of Clubs, four of hearts. So I'll put her information in there. And if you feel inspired to look up some of these references, please do. And as always, share this. And if you have questions, type them in below. I love to hear your curiosities and would be happy to answer. So until next week, when we talk about the universal giver of values, yeah. I'm gonna go with that term, that title for right now. Until next time, I have a very special guest. Was super excited to bring this very young and very wise spiritual young woman onto the show to talk about the essence of her card as a Nine of Diamonds person. Uh, till then, here is to love and joy in the journey. Ciao for now.